GRCs Around the Valley is sponsored by Zook Septic Services, serving central Pennsylvania. Contact them for inspections, repairs, and system maintenance needs at 570-837-1466 or at zookseptic.com.
Look at all those that are
Oh my.
And they're usually beautiful and ripe, and
They are looking so good.
Well, we have met up with the owners of Bridge Avenue Berries, Sue and Harry Jones. Actually, they caught us eating some of the berries.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
it was awful.
It was awful. They let us stay.
Well, thank you, first of all, for hosting us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Excited to get past the first bush, which is where we were eating. This is amazing. Tell us a little bit. We know you didn't start the farm, so tell us about maybe the age of the farm and how you all decided to, hey, let's buy a blueberry farm.
I mean, not everybody gets to do that. Buy a blueberry farm is pretty, kind of
Some days we think we're a little crazy for buying a blueberry farm.
I hear ya.
Yeah. So we'll start where we came onto the scene here. In 2018, we bought the farm, and I'll tell you my story. In 2017, I drove past the farm in April, and I saw the for sale sign, and I got home and I said to Sue, I said, you want to buy a blueberry farm? And she said, no, absolutely not. So then we picked blueberries here off and on over the 20 years before that. So we came over in July, for sale sign was still out. We picked blueberries, mentioned to the lady out front that we, still for sale and all that. My background's in horticulture, and Sue's a dental hygienist. So we had a lot to learn, but we had a lot of good help getting off the ground. So that's a little bit about us. The farm, as far as we know, the blueberries have been here since the early 1960s. The gentleman that owned the farm at that point in time was a plant breeder for the University of Maryland. So he was trying to find new varieties of blueberries to enter into the trade. So he would cross-pollinate blueberries, plants, get the blueberry, plant the seed, start new plants, and then bring them up here and plant them out.
So when do they start to, I guess, do you call it blossoming? When they start to come up and grow? I don't know. Is that the word, blossom?
Yeah, they'll blossom in May, typically, and then get pollinated. We have all kinds of native pollinators here. We have a pollinator garden over in the corner, which I don't know if you saw.
No, I didn't.
To encourage our native bees, and we've got lots of native bees that live in the hedgerows.
Yeah.
So we don't bring any bees in because we have lots of bumblebees, carpenter bees, and the little native mining bees. Actually, honeybees don't pollinate blueberries very well because of the shape of the flower. Honeybees have a short tongue, so they can't get all the way to the bottom. So bumblebees have a longer tongue, and they buzz. And
there is a lot more to this.
There is a lot more.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have lots of native pollinators that do all the pollination, and then the blueberries start coming on typically the first week of July.
Okay.
This year it was early. Everything's been early this year.
Yeah.
But typically first week of July. And so we started the last week of June and got going. And so we're coming into probably the last week of our season here. With still a lot of berries that are still green and yet to ripen. But it's been an interesting year this year.
But there is a bush that you said is your favorite, right? I want to try that.
You want to try that?
Gotta try that.
We'll take a trip across the field. We're always looking for a nice ripe blueberry, and one of the ways you can tell blueberry's ripe, when you pull on it. If it pulls off easy, it's ripe.
Okay.
If you really have to tug on it, it's not ripe. Just leave it hang. In another day or so, it'll come off. And yet another interesting thing about blueberries is once they're picked, they do not ripen any farther.
Really?
The skin may change color, but they do not ripen any farther.
That is great.
So you know how you can pick tomatoes and they'll sit on the counter and ripen, and even strawberries, they can be about 3/4 red, and you pick them and they'll finish ripening. These guys don't.
So I noticed two different kinds of blue, I guess. There's like a powder blue and then a darker blue. What's the difference there?
Yeah. So the powder blue, this powder on the outside is a natural coating on the blueberry. It's called bloom.
Oh my gosh, you can rub it off.
Yeah, you can rub it off.
Okay.
So this is just a natural coating on the blueberry. It's called bloom, like a flower bloom.
Yeah.
So these guys are nice and ripe. they're perfect. But if you find one that is black like a marble.
Yeah, like right here.
Yeah.
Or this is starting to become. Yeah. It's getting
so
really,
you find one
good.
like that, it's black like a marble, the bloom is really coming off, it's overripe. Pop it in your mouth. It's not going to kill you, but you're going to notice a taste difference.
Yeah.
So what we tell our pickers is don't pick these, because a lot of times when you get them in a bucket and you start shaking them up and you get 3 pounds of blueberries on top of these little guys, they start to crush and get juicy.
Yeah.
And once blueberries get juicy, and they get sticky because there are lots of sugars in here.
So I have a little planter box at home.
Mm-hmm.
So if I drop some of these seeds in there, what's the chances that I'd get blueberries, like in the right time of year?
Yeah. If you were planting seeds, if you seeded it this fall, you may get some seedlings to come up.
Really?
Entirely possible. You can grow them from seed. Most often they're grown from cuttings. So somebody would come into a farm like this and they would take this cutting, peel the leaves off the bottom here, stick it in rooting hormone, and then stick it into a bed of sand, and then overhead mist it, and it would develop roots.
Nice.
So they develop from cuttings most often, but you can start them from seed.
Cuttings with no berries. So you
right.
Just take this.
Yep.
And just the stem and no leaves, no berries, and you would stick that in.
You would leave about the top third of the leaves on, strip the rest off, and then plant it or stick it. When in the horticultural world, we call it sticking cuttings. You'd stick it. So this is where we sort, and you notice it's cooler in here.
Yes, I do.
One of the things we learned early on when we started sorting berries, and the previous owner sorted berries too, but this room wasn't set up for it. It was actually his workshop, and when we moved here, I said to Sue, "This is the most awesome workshop I have ever had. This is great." That lasted one winter. And then we changed, and it became the sorting room. So, but what we learned was early on, and my parents were both in the food industry, and so I had a little inkling of this, but it really came home to roost when we bought the farm, and people were picking in solid plastic buckets, and the sorting was happening out front. So you've got a 95-degree day, 95-degree berry going into a bucket, and that would be like sticking us in a car on a 95-degree day, closing the windows and no air conditioning on and just sitting there.
Yeah.
So what would happen is you get to the bottom of the bucket and it'd be juice. So the bottom couple of inches was just shot. And we pay by the pound for picking, so we were throwing away a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we decided this room was all insulated. I closed the windows off, put an air conditioner in, so we run about 65-ish degrees in here. And we changed our buckets. Our pickers pick in these buckets with the mesh sides, so the heat can start to get out while they're picking. And then the ladies go around the field every hour on our side-by-side, and they pick up berries from people that are picking for us, and then bring them back here. We record them on a tally sheet so we can pay them, and then they come in here to start
so
getting the heat out.
they have their names on it. Okay.
Yeah, they have their names on. And so they bring them in here, so we start to get the heat out of the berries.
Yeah.
So once they're sorted here, then they go over to our cooler that runs at about 38 degrees, and they get cooled down even more. And what we found is, and we found this in our own kitchen, by doing that, getting the heat out of them as quickly as it can, extends the shelf life. So typically in the middle of the season or early season, when you're buying berries from here, you should be able to keep it in your fridge for about 7 to 10 days.
Wow.
Before they start to
That's pretty
go
good.
the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we sort, and these are our homemade sorters. They used to look like this. These are the original ones.
Okay.
But this is extremely hard to pour out of. You get berries in there and you're trying to pour these into a quart, you end up getting berries all over the place. So we were out in Oregon a few years ago visiting a blueberry farm out there, and they had a modified sorter with this on the front. So we borrowed the idea with their permission and created the sorter. So now you can pour out very nicely. But before you pour them out, you dump about a layer of blueberries in, and you roll it around, and you can see the waste here. The stems come out, the bottom, leaves, what have you.
And that'll get the stems that are attached as well?
No, the ones with the stems that are attached, we either have to physically pull the stems off, But a lot of times when a stem's attached, that blueberry is either overripe or underripe.
Okay.
And we just pitch them.
Okay.
But sometimes it's a beautiful looking berry and you try and pluck that stem off.
Yeah.
Because we like to sell blueberries that don't have stems on them. So if
Yeah.
you get a quart of our blueberries, you should just be able to grab it by the handful and pop it in your mouth. So we'll roll them around, and we're looking for any berries that are damaged or pink ones. Remember I said out there how the pink ones aren't ripe? So we'll pluck out the pink ones, we'll pluck out any damaged ones, they go into buckets, and they become our waste. And we actually have some people that buy that waste and make kombucha.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes wine. And we have some people that buy the pink ones because some people like them tart. So they'll buy the unripe pink berries. But mostly their waste, they go to people that have chickens, and believe it or not, cows love blueberries.
No kidding.
Yeah, cows, pigs. So we package these up. Once they're sorted, we package them up in pint flats, quarts. We also do 10-pound boxes, which is a nice thing. A lot of people will buy those to freeze that don't want to pick their own. And then we also put them up in 3-pound bags and freeze them. That's what's in the freezers behind you.
So do you package them in here as well?
We do, yeah. All the packaging and processing is done in here. We don't wash anything. We are not licensed through the Department of Agriculture to wash. That would require some more record keeping and that sort of thing. So when they come in here, they are packed dry. So there's no washing. And what we recommend people do, since we are a natural farm, you can eat them right off the bush like we were doing. There's nothing on them. And we had a lady here the other night, and this was so exciting to hear. She's in her mid-30s, former school teacher, but she's had health problems and stomach problems. And she said, sometimes when I eat blueberries other places, she said, my stomach will just knot right up. Whatever's on them does not agree with me. And so she said, I walked out in your field, first time here, and she said, I ate a couple of blueberries and waited a minute to see what was going to happen. And she said, nothing happened.
That's amazing.
Wow. That was awesome.
That's got to feel really good.
It does feel good.
Yeah,
it feels really good.
It.
This is our farm stand. And our blueberries, we like to make the focal point. And then we add in some organic produce that I buy from a local organic farmer. So
I love the display. That's great.
Thank you. So we try to carry whatever is in season. So zucchinis are starting to run out. So we're going to run some yellow crookneck squash in here next. We just got some peaches in, which are not organic. So we try to have a little bit of variety here, along with the baked goods. And one of our ladies, that's one of our Amish pickers, she grows flowers and makes beautiful flower arrangements.
Yeah.
And the cards that are there are painted by Rachel from back in the sorting room. Those are all hand painted watercolors.
That's amazing.
So a little bit of local stuff going on out here on the farm stand.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is great. I love it.
We get lots of visitors stopping to buy blueberries and picking up other things. And so it just rounds things out.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow, we want to give a big shout out to Harry and Sue and Bridge Avenue Berries. This has been a lot of fun here today.
It has been. There's a lot more to growing blueberries than I originally anticipated. So it was exciting to not only to taste different kinds of berries, but to see what the whole process looks like to get them right here.
Yeah, I was impressed by the heirloom bushes. To think that for over 50 years, those bushes have been producing a fruit year after year after year.
A long, long time. Originally, like I said, I thought it was the kind of berries, but it's actually how long that specific plant has been growing. So it's pretty incredible.
I think the other thing I learned today too was the dedication that you could take from blueberry farming and apply it to other aspects of life. I mean, you have a 4-week payoff out of 52 weeks.
Yeah.
But you got to spend all 52 weeks, to get that.
Yes.
And so the dedication, all of our farmers actually, whatever it is they grow, have that dedication, but a great life lesson that we can take in all that we do. Put forth the effort to get that payoff.
Even if it doesn't happen right away. Because I like instant gratification. So when I'm doing something, I want to see the results immediately. It doesn't work that way here. So it's a good life lesson for sure.
Well, this is another around the valley where there is a store, so I'm not done looking.
What you got there?
Well, you speak of instant gratification. I'm getting ready to have some right here with a blueberry whoopie pie.
Wow.
Yes,
that looks really
I'm excited to dive into this. It's going to be great. There's cheesecake over there as well.
There is.
Yeah. I know I'm gonna take Dottie something home so I won't get in trouble.
Well, there's only one whoopie pie left, so we may have to race for it.
Oh, I'll get you.
Okay.
I'll get you. So next growing season, you'll be able to stop by and pick your own, or maybe take advantage of what they have picked for you. So it's always great to support local, Wanda.
Absolutely.
I know this is big for you. It's
Yeah.
just shopping local.
Yeah, shopping local. Let's support our small businesses, the farm stands, the little stores, people that are, creating businesses, and there's something really special about that, and I see that dying away. So let's support them and keep them alive.
So do you have a craft, hobby, occupation, or a place of interest you would like us to get a behind-the-scenes look at? Submit your idea for Around the Valley via email to morningshow@wgrc.com. That's morningshow@wgrc.com. And who knows, next time we just may see you around the valley. I gotta get that. No, I'm getting it.